Well, hey y'all, happy Friday. Welcome to this special edition of the John Campea Show.
Yeah.
John is out sick today, so I'm going to be your host today. My name is Chris Carr. Thank you so much for being here with us. But of course, I am not alone to talk to you about movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all kinds of good things. I got other folks here. It's the Batman Beyond crew.
Yeah.
We got Jonathan Voico.
Back from the sewer, baby.
Back from the sewer.
Yep.
Oh, man. How was your time off? Did you have a nice time?
I
missed you.
Yeah, I missed you guys too.
How was the ranch? I heard there was like lots of room to run around and
No,
everything.
I actually went to Mordor.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyways, this is a big day.
It is game day.
Yeah, it is literally game day. As if anyone's been following, I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and a video game came out today called Mutants Unleashed. I was watching some footage of it before the show started.
Right.
Looks a little rough.
All right.
I haven't seen any reviews for it. I'm still going to buy it just because of my love for the Turtles and the Mutant Mayhem movie. Let's hope it turns out to be an okay buy at least.
The what do you want to call it? The cutscenes look a little PlayStation 1-y.
Yeah,
They're a little
bit.
PlayStation 1-y. But the gameplay,
It's cute.
it looks like it could be fun.
It looks like it could be fun.
It's got like that isometric kind of like that Lego video game layout where you're kind of looking at an angle. Definitely platformer.
There is a story involved. There looks to like there's a story that's going to be told in it, and if it's a Lego game like the collect and just move on, collect. I don't know if you guys are into those games. Are you?
It just depends. It just depends. I mean, but I think it's going to be. I just mean it's going to have that isometric kind of angle to it. It's not just like a side scroller, and it's obviously the Mutant Mayhem characters. I mean, it looks like it could be fun if you're into that thing. It definitely looks rough. So I'm hoping it's like a cheap, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not paying $60 for this thing.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But we also got. Did you have?
Oh yeah, real quick, how many people can play it at a time though?
I believe it's 2 players on the same console, so you and Logan can go at it.
Yeah, because I was gonna say
Teamwork.
that's when Logan and I go at it. It's in a video game.
Oh, actually, who would you play? Who would you play first? Obviously, me, Michelangelo.
I
of
love
course.
Donnie.
Donnie's.
I always played Donatello in the OG arcade game because he had reach with the bow staff. Yeah.
And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I'm very saddened that this is not a 4-player, even online game, because that's what the TMNT games are usually about. So
Maybe they'll add to it.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, there could be expansions or something.
And other video game news.
Yeah,
right?
we do have some other video game news just off the top. We know so many people, I'm among these people, have been really excited about the God of War television adaptation because these games are beautiful. Logan calls them the Bad Dad games, Mean Dad, Bad Dad. And apparently the series is getting completely reworked.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy because this first came to us like in 2022. We were getting the show, and now we're scrapping everything and starting all over. This comes from Deadline. Sony Pictures TV and Amazon MGM Studios are staging a do-over on God of War, the series for Prime Video that's based on PlayStation's hugely popular ancient mythology-themed video game. Deadline has learned that showrunner and executive producer Rafe Judkins, along with EPs Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus, have left the project after completing the multiple scripts for the first season. The studios are apparently looking to move in a different creative direction, though one source told Deadline the trio scripts were praised by both Sony and Prime. Now, to be clear too, Judkins does have a deal with Prime. He's the showrunner of Wheel of Time, has an exclusivity deal with them and everything too. I don't know if I believe scripts that were praised, but then a creative team completely leaving. I feel like there's a little bit of dissonance between those two things.
Is the creative team from the video game behind the video game? Is that what you're saying?
You know, I'm not sure if they are actually involved here. I just know these people who are part of the actual show itself.
Because we know how well a series can be if there is people that were involved in the video game, involved in the actual series, like The Last of Us, right? So, I'm not sure if the Fallout series had any of the creative people behind it. The video game actually behind that show, because that show was great.
So fun.
They had to, because that was so spot on with everything and everything on scene was literally out of the game.
Oh, it was so well.
So there had to have
executed.
been like very close consultation there.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of two minds on this story.
Right.
one hand, I do want them to take their time and get things right. You know, so you do have something really great like Fallout. So you do have something really great like Last of Us. And if things aren't firing on all cylinders, then yeah, I would want that reworked instead of kind of trial by error. Let's Rings of Power this and just see if we can get a second season and have it be better. The other hand, though, I am a little confused by having really great scripts that they were happy about and then
Do you think it's a cover-up?
totally booting.
That's a cover-up?
I'm not sure. It feels a little PR statement-y for me.
Right.
But I'm not in the room, so
Look,
I can't make that judgment.
Look, I've never played... The only God of War game I played was God of War 2 on my PSP. I played it briefly. Someone let me borrow it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Although I don't know anything about God of War, you better believe I'm gonna be watching the series because I know enough about the character and seen enough gameplays from all the recent God of Wars that it would be dumb for me not to be into this. I can't wait till they reveal who's gonna be playing Kratos.
Yeah.
I mean, we've still got a long way to go, it seems, anyways.
For sure. We're still very pre-production.
We don't got a main actor
Yeah,
yet.
it's not like they shot this thing and they're like, we got to do complete reshoots and all that. It's like this is pre-production.
Yeah.
So
That's true. So I don't feel too bad about it. But guys, let us know what you think about that too. Let us know how you're feeling about them reworking that show. But with those off the top kind of topics out of the way, let's talk about what we are doing here today. First of all, if you ever want to check us out in podcast form, you can do that. You can just head on over to wherever you get your podcasts. Right. Look at those stars. Oh my goodness.
Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your
all
podcasts.
The places. Yeah. And write us a cute little review. Put your hot little fingers onto there. Write us an actual review that helps us in the algorithm so much. Also, you can always send in your questions to us as long as they are appropriate. Head on over to streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. And if we like those questions, we'll read them here on air because we can't do the show without you. All right, housekeeping out of the way. Yay, nailed it, did it, cool. With all that done, let's get into our main topics. And the first one, thank God I'm here and not the host who runs a sports channel. We've got a sports story for you.
Yeah.
So, Superman actor David Corenswet, who of course has been in tons of other things. He was recently in Twisters. He was in Hollywood. He has another film coming out that he has just signed on to. He's going to be the lead in Skydance Sports' Mr. Irrelevant, which I was today years old when I learned about this term. So this is something that started being coined, if I'm not mistaken, in 1976?
Or 79.
Yeah, in the late 1970s for whoever was picked last in the NFL draft.
Right.
76.
76? All right, woohoo. So this one, though, we are specifically talking about the story of John Tuggle. And man, what a heartbreaking real life story this man went through. We all did a deep dive this morning. And this, I think, has the potential to be a really interesting film. John Tuggle was given the title of Mr. Irrelevant after being picked last in the draft in 1983. And then went on to be this really beautiful kind of core part of the Giants, and he had a lot of struggles with his health, and the team really rallies around him in real life, and it should be a pretty interesting and honestly potentially rough watch.
Look, Skydance Media, well, this is going to be made by Skydance Sports, I believe it's the studio. It's a partnership with NFL Films, who makes the Hard Knocks series, and then Skydance Media, who's behind like Top Gun Maverick. I guess they created a partnership and formed this studio.
Oh, cool.
So far, this studio has done Good Rivals. I believe it's an Amazon soccer docu-series, and also Air. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, Air. So
that was one of my favorite films of, was it last year?
Yeah,
I think it was last year.
It was a fabulous film.
Because when I read it was Skydance Sports, all I could think of was, oh, that's the channel I watch boxing when there's an event in the UK. So wow. So you know, they seem to always pick out these small, beautiful stories, like all the NFL players, all the years it's been out there.
Yeah.
They seem to find these little stories that, you know, that this is going to show David Corenswet's acting chops.
Well,
it's going to be such
because you're going to get, because to me, it feels like it's like a little bit of Rudy, kind of like where it's like the guy you least kind of expect, and then there's triumph, but then there's also tragedy, but then there's like the beauty of like that community coming together for him. There'll be struggle. There'll be like him dealing with his, you know, mortality.
Yeah.
I think this could be a huge role and a beautiful story. Like
done well. It could be
And
Oscar
sports
bait.
movies that are like very inspiring like this are like exactly Oscar bait.
Yeah.
I mean, coming off of like what he's gonna be playing Superman, so coming off of that, it's good because it's gonna get immediately like eyes on him as someone else as well. So you're not gonna get that typecasting if this is produced correctly and promoted correctly.
That is a great point. It's a really smart move for him and his team
Right,
to be doing all of these.
exactly. So he's just not set as Superman after
Yeah.
Superman. You said it'll likely be like an Iron Claw, from what I heard.
Yeah. I was
Jonathan,
like,
you were
I feel
saying
like
that.
this might have a bit of an Iron Claw feel, where
Yeah.
it's like a beautiful story but also tragic.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that's my next. That'll be. So I got like Nosferatu and A Complete Unknown, which that's not a tragedy.
Tragic, but-
Last year I did the Iron Claw on Christmas Day
Oof.
with my coffee, black. So yeah, this movie, Mr. Irrelevant, might be a good like just
New Christmas
sad
tradition.
Christmas Day
Yeah.
movie
Is that
tradition.
your go-to? Is it just on Christmas you gravitate towards sad or horror?
You know what? There's fewer people in the theater.
Listen, that's fair.
That's not my only reason, but honestly, it just kind of dawned on me. Like, yeah, I have fewer people to deal with. I could just
Yeah.
pick a crop on a good seat,
That's true.
have my coffee.
That's true.
And
No.
he doesn't want to be home when his kids find no presents from him.
oh my
underneath the
gosh.
bed.
Not even
Yeah.
from Santa?
Yeah, he's the dark Santa Claus right here.
That's why one black coffee.
Yeah.
No one else in the theater gets a treat. Well, guys, let us know what you think about this new film, Mr. Irrelevant. Is the film interesting? Irrelevant to you? How are you feeling about this? Are you interested in seeing where David Corenswet is going to go next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, with that down, next up, Dune Prophecy. A show that I know you guys have been way more excited about than me because I am not as versed in Dune.
In Dune.
We've talked about this ad nauseum on the show. I understand not everything is for me. I understand that other people don't like, reading Lord of the Rings because they describe grass for pages on end. Dune was a little bit of a slow burn for me, so I never got super into those books. And I didn't then gravitate towards the movies as much.
Right.
Dune 2, very pretty. But this series looks fascinating because it's about our kind of Jedi-esque characters, the Bene Gesserit. They're really scary and really, really cool.
And really manipulative. And,
So manipulative.
Yeah.
Just women running a school for girls. Oh my gosh, that line in this trailer. They dropped this full trailer, y'all, and it is powerful. I mean, if you didn't already know this was an HBO series, come on.
Yeah.
The aesthetic here is so, so incredible. It looks like it just kind of spawned right off of the Dune movies.
There's money poured into this thing for sure.
Absolutely. This one looks incredible. The show comes out November 17th, so we're getting this soon.
Right on the heels of Penguin. So I'm really curious about how this tracks compared to Penguin.
Yeah.
For one, its trajectory from its air date, its premiere, and then does it track upward like Penguin is doing?
That nice steady climb in numbers. Yeah.
And then also just the numbers in comparison. So the last Penguin was like 1.7 million, which I know, like we look at other like streaming episodes, it's like, well, that doesn't even, but for what the Penguin is,
Those aren't Matlock numbers.
That's big. Listen, honey, that ain't Matlock numbers. That's my best. I guess that's my
That's
best.
a really great Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates.
What this
Solid.
show's got going for them is it's HBO Max. I mean, really,
Exactly.
you can't really bet against that channel.
And again,
or-
Mark Strong, who we saw is
In
in
Penguin.
Penguin, is also in this.
Is
He
he
plays the
really?
Emperor.
Yeah.
He plays the Emperor.
Okay.
He's having a good year. Love Mark Strong. I think he, again, one of those actors who classes up the joint. I love
I think
him
it's
so much.
one of those situations too to me where it's not, the backstory is okay. This is the beginning of the Bene Gesserit. I'm like, all right, it's kind of interesting. I like it's 10,000 years before, but it's more than that. So it's something that's actually there's a existential threat to the Empire, and also like we're gonna notice the Harkonnens are not quite the monstrous Harkonnens that we see 10,000 years later.
Oh, that's a great
So
point.
it'll be a little different, but I'm excited to step into like other planets, other worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, these shots here just look really great.
Beautiful.
And will people be into the expanded universe as it
Of
goes into
Dune,
the series?
right?
Right, because I like the Dune movies, but for me to go off and like
Right.
watch other things like a TV series. I don't know how many episodes it's.
If the
I don't know
drama's
yet.
there, if the drama's there, and this has a Game of Thrones-esque kind of like
Kind of House of the Dragon-y.
tempo, and every
Okay.
episode leaves you wanting more, then I think it's going to pull viewers in.
And Penguin is thriving, obviously.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot
Oh
of
my
people are
gosh,
liking
yeah.
that show. So if it can have that effect and bring in the viewers that show is bringing in, then it'll be a good thing for Dune, especially because they're still making the third one, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which, all right, because again, you guys know more about Dune than I do. So is this based off of just simply lore within the books? Are there prequel books that this is specifically pulling off of?
I think it's
What are we
pulling off
working
because they're
with?
histories
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
yeah.
is their Silmarillion?
Isn't it
in a
based-
way, but it's more direct storyline. It's not like because like
It's not a weird historical.
I mean the way he
epic
wrote
poem.
and created stories is sort of unlike I'm talking about Tolkien is sort of unlike most
Yeah.
storytellers, but yeah. So this isn't just like pulled out of a hat.
Because initially, I believe it was based off the Sisterhood series or story from Dune, right? I
Yes.
believe that's what it was
pretty
called
sure.
before.
Okay.
But we'll have to check it out. I guess anything from HBO Max, the first episode will always get a watch from me, no matter whether I know the subject or not. Or yeah, so
What's going to have to happen for them to keep you tuning in for the second episode?
I want visuals. That's
oh,
what
well, it
I'm
looks like you're
always-
gonna have that.
I'm always in awe at the Dune visuals that sometimes I don't pay attention to the story and then I get confused and then I have to rewatch it at home. That's what happens with Dune. The sets are so beautiful. It's hard to pay attention with what's going on
So that-
and then not just be in awe.
That's one thing you just brought up that, well, two things. One, in this article, they speak to the actress and one thing I like, it's a lot like Andor. It's sets and actual locations. All right. So that's great. I'm sure there will be some use of, and I'm okay with some use of volume and it's right at the right time. Right.
That's a time and
So,
place.
but it's going to have that Andor feel where it's real locations and then also like sets. She said when she stepped into the headquarters of the Bene Gesserit, she's just blown away. She said it felt like it was a theme park because it was just so.
That's cool.
Yeah, just a very large set and just ornate and detail oriented. So that's awesome because that lets the actors like kind of explore the set.
Oh
and,
yeah,
you
you're
know what I
so
mean?
immersed then.
Just real quick, guys. Like these costumes look great, right? But out of place, like we were at Comic-Con, and then when I pressed the elevator doors opened, and there was two girls in there dressed like the Sisterhood.
Oh,
That was creepy as heck.
That would freak
so
me
out
out.
of place. Those costumes are nuts. I would never want to walk into a dark alley with two sisters at the other end. I'll go around. I'll go
feel
the
like-
long way.
in context, I don't want that. I don't want them in my brain.
Did you happen to run into them? They were staying in
No.
the same hotel we were. So
Really?
Yeah, and so I opened up. I was like, okay, I'm not. Should I go? No. I for a second thought about going in or not, but
Just-
because they made no noise when I was in the elevator, and I got off before them.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting too. I caught on that trailer that it wasn't just that they can use her voice to manipulate. She like linked her voice to another Bene Gesserit student or teacher or whatever through her, and then commanded
Like
somebody.
used as a conduit.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
conduit.
some
Crazy.
bond.
Really crazy.
There's some
Yeah.
bond with these.
and it does look like it's really. It does look beautiful. It's not going to be the same cinematographer as Dune Part 2. There are
no.
some scenes where you could tell there was like more intimate scenes where characters are close by. It doesn't have. It looks more like Game of Thrones, which is beautiful and above most things on TV, but it doesn't have the visual scale of like a Roger Deakins or whoever. I think Greig Fraser was the cinematographer on Dune 2.
Okay.
But I think it's still going to look incredible.
I think it'll
So-
be great. And as long as we have that weird music going with it.
Oh, well, yeah, that's all there.
Then we're set. Then
that's
it'll
all
be
there.
beautiful. Well, guys, let us know. What did you think of this latest trailer? Are you excited to see this? Are you going to be tuning in November 17th? Or did this not really move the needle for you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. All right, y'all. Moving on. We've got a little bit of headway, maybe, with the next Spider-Man film. Ooh. I have been so excited about this. There is a script, but according to Variety and Tom Holland and Zendaya, it needs some work. So this is our kind of big through line.
And that's
for
how
today.
that's the expression he
That's
gave to the
exactly-
writer right there.
He
He's
looked
like,
at Kevin
this,
Feige and went,
this needs to work.
"Hey, buddy." So it has been reported that Tom Holland recently got to read the first draft of the script for his fourth Spider-Man movie and just thinks that even though the writers did a good job, it still needs some work. He said, quote, and this was on the Ritual podcast, one of the things in that with Marvel, your film is a small cog in a large machine. Holland said about Spider-Man 4 development, that machine has got to keep running. You have to make sure you can fit into that timeline at the right time to benefit the bigger picture. That's one of the challenges we're facing. The time in which we need to get that done is a tall order, but definitely achievable with the people we have working on it now. We have a creative and we have a pitch and a draft, which is excellent, Holland added. It needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. I read it 3 weeks ago and it really lit a fire in me. Zendaya and I sat down and read it together and we at times were bouncing around the living room like this is a real movie worthy of fans' respect.
Right.
All right, well, that's a great place to start, I feel.
Yeah, and when you read that in its totality, it's like, these guys are amazing. What we have to do is almost Herculean. And, you know, they're doing their best job. It's coming around. It needs some work still. Here's what headlines are. Tom Holland says script needs work.
Yeah.
Oh, while he's pompous, or oh, this is a red flag.
Yeah.
Or oh.
Well, and this is why everyone always needs to read a full article. Don't just be that person who perpetuates headlines.
This is why I think he should have said it's coming along, as opposed to it needs work, because at this point in his stage in his career, people are going to pounce on that.
Oh yeah. Well, he actually recently talked about this too. He strategically has not been doing a lot of interviews and things like that, a lot of press, because he and Robert Downey Jr. are really good friends, and he knew about him being Doom, and he thought he'd ruin it. He's like, I'm so famous for ruining Marvel secrets. I just needed to not be anywhere near the press during this.
Yeah.
So he does have to do some mental gymnastics when he's talking about these things, because everything does get clipped out, or everything then can become a theory.
Right.
But I think, though, to your point, once you read the entire statement, it's, hey, yeah, we're doing some great work. This is a draft. We really like where it's going, but we need to keep pushing forward so we can have a wonderful, perfect story. Mm-hmm. And that's hard to do. I mean, this is something that we as Marvel fans and movie fans have had a pretty hot and cold relationship with Marvel about. Give us more movies, but wait, no, only give us quality movies, but I want a lot of them. But why do they suck if you're giving me 9 films a year? We've had this back and forth. I would so much rather them take their time and give me a really wonderful, polished script, especially after where we've left Peter Parker, just in shambles.
Right.
How do you bring him back, and how do you make him that kind of friendly neighborhood Spider-Man after he's gone intergalactic?
It's assumed now that his best friends and girlfriend have forgotten who he is.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with that. You know, that's going to be the overarching, like, you know, conundrum he's dealing with. But, you know, it's not just about the villain. It's going to be about the hero and what he's struggling with.
And did they read this just as a couple, or is Zendaya actually going to be in this next film? Like,
I would assume she's going to be,
right,
but probably not a huge role.
You know. You're right.
In a lot of the reports, it continually says co-star.
Okay.
So I believe
good.
Then maybe
she'd still
so.
be in this.
Okay,
I would
good.
hope so.
Because they can't completely forget about him. I mean, we won't forget about Zendaya and Jacob or Ned.
No, love
Yeah, you can't just leave them behind
my gosh.
like that.
They're such great characters.
It's just it still has a Shang-Chi director behind it, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully they could find a script that works, because we need to get this thing going. Because Tom Holland, even though he seems very young, he needs to start working on this.
He is no longer really a Spider Boy. He is a Spider-Man, and they got to get cranking.
I do like the way he leaks things, not on purpose. It's such a childish part of him that makes him perfect for
pretty charming.
Peter Parker.
Yeah. I loved all those interviews where it was him and Benedict Cumberbatch, and Cumberbatch just losing his mind, being like, no, stop. They were great. For you guys, though, when you hear stuff like this, with the whole idea of it having to fit into the bigger machine that is Marvel, does that make you feel more confident in what they're doing with this next phase? And I know John says that the phases are irrelevant, but for me, I think it helps with, like, the structure of the universe.
Bookends it.
Yeah. So does that make you more confident in the way the phase is moving, or
I think it just points to the complexity of what they're dealing with.
Sure.
Because you're not just dealing with individual stories, then the individual stories have to fit in. And it's not just about fitting in, granted, it's about the logistics of an entire film operation coming together and completing and releasing at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nearly impossible. It's insane. It it really helps me appreciate going back to even the first phase and the second phase of just how they've juggled all these storylines and individual film sets, post-production, marketing, getting it out there, getting ready for the next thing. It's crazy.
Oh,
it's
insane.
It took me so long to figure out from the comics, Marvel comics, that everything was connected. Like, of course I saw the covers with Captain America, Thor, whatever, but I didn't know it was super connected, as in, like, I've only found out when I started reading the Runaways, and they mentioned, those guys on the West Coast, this and that, and I was like, wait a second, holy crap, everything's. I think it's such a task to make everything fit in every, like, let's say you have the best script, and then it has to go through this last thing of, does it fit with the whole universe, right?
Yeah.
So that's always a daunting task, and some things have to be cut just because it doesn't make sense. So I understand I feel for the writers.
For sure.
Because not only did they have to write a good story, but they also have to make sure it fits within the confines of whatever else is going on. And sometimes these writers are just brought in because they're good writers. Maybe they might not know everything that's going on in the cinematic universe. So it's a daunting task. I believe we're going to have a couple drafts.
Oh,
of
sure.
This. So
And we should.
Yeah.
We should have a couple drafts.
I know Blade has the most drafts.
Oh, they got a few drafts?
They've got the Blade is the Mr. Irrelevant now of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, unfortunately, which is a bummer.
All right.
But my big takeaway from this story is, you guys used the phrase earlier, it is Herculean, and I think sometimes as fans we think, well, why would it be so hard to make this movie? I know exactly how I'd make this. I'm such a huge fan. I know exactly what Spider-Man needs to do next.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, the execution of this is really important and
start writing a
Sisyphean
script.
task.
It's a big
Oh,
character.
that's not proper form for a script.
Isn't that fun?
Go set up the cameras. Oh, you don't know what camera or how to do that? What about lighting? Or what about maintaining like an
So
entire crew?
many things.
What about everything that takes
Yeah.
place in this thing? It's almost impossible to make a movie. It stresses me out, and I'm not even involved because I know all the things that are involved.
Yeah. I just produced a couple shorts and I wanted to pull all my hair out. It's wild doing this stuff. But guys, let us know what you think. Do you think that what Tom Holland do you think what Tom Holland said here?
Tom Daya?
Tom Day, there we go. Do you think what Tom Holland said here is promising about the movie? Does it give you pause? Let us know how you're feeling about those statements in the comments below. All right, guys, we have so much more to talk about. But before we do that, we're going to take just a quick little break to pay some bills. We're going to thank the nice people over at Mando. Check them out.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mando. Guys, I've got to tell you about something that changed my whole body care game. Mando Whole Body Deodorant. Now, I first heard about Mando last year when they offered to become a sponsor of the show, and I was honestly skeptical. I mean, a deodorant can't really control odor for 72 hours, can it? But after using it myself, I am a believer. You can use it anywhere on your body, and I mean anywhere. It's clinically proven to keep you smelling fresh for up to 72 hours without any irritation. I'm loving the Clover Wood scent, but they've got options like Bourbon Leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and even unscented if you prefer to go stealth mode. I like to use it after the shower, before the gym, or even important meetings. It's that reliable. And right now, Mando's got a killer deal. New customers get $5 off their best-selling starter pack with my exclusive code CAMPEA. That's over 40% off. Just go to shopmando, that's shopmando.com, and use the code CAMPEA. Seriously, guys, if you want a deodorant that's aluminum-free, baking soda-free, and just works better than anything else you've tried, it's time to make the switch to Mando. So don't wait. Control body odor anywhere with Mando. Head over to shopmando.com and use the code CAMPEA and get $5 off your starter pack. Trust me, you're going to love it. That's at shopmando.com. Go and check it out now.
And thank you to the folks over at Mando for making this episode of the Non-Campea Show possible. Tanya, Scott, stop watching this. Go color. You have deadlines. Don't text me. Go color. Sorry. All right. Anyway, our next story, you guys. We've got some information about the Karate Kid. All right. We have some posters highlighting both Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio's character, newest student rather, excuse me. They're in the poster as well here, but we have this fabulous, very throwback poster in my opinion.
I kind of like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like the old films
Has
featuring
like
our
a
newest student.
painted, like a painted layer to it. You know what I mean? I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know if Rob were here, right, our dear sweet RMB, he always talks about how things right now kind of feel like it's just a bunch of faces kind of photoshopped together.
Yeah, and this, while I will agree, this sort of pushes those boundaries.
A little bit of that.
There's a bit of an 80s or early 90s like feel to this. They're both coming out of like that rising sun there, or maybe that's a setting sun. The color
that is in the little thing, or
it would be hard. Like I'd have to know the cityscape. So I'm not sure if this takes place in China, like the Jackie Chan version did, or if this is in the United States or what. But it is a bit of a human pyramid, which I hate. But like I said, just the fact that they're kind of coming out of the sun here, and you can tell they're both going to be influences. It tells a bit of a story. So I give it a pass, but it's close.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone saw the last Karate Kid that they released. I believe Will Smith's son was the star,
Jaden.
Jackie Chan. I actually liked that film. I don't know why. I thought it was a good film. I actually liked all the Karate Kid films. I haven't seen Cobra Kai. This title is kind of I don't know. It sounds like
Legends.
a video game title. I don't know what Legends means. It sounds
I think just
like
that they're probably both legends in this lore. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I get that. Because then I was thinking, oh, wow, this is going to be a long, drawn-out movie franchise.
My first thought was it feels like a new installment of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh.
Well,
where they have All Stars.
Could
It
be
was like
that
Legacy.
too.
Ooh,
this
that's
feels
fun.
a bit of All Stars. I mean, it's coming off of Cobra Kai, which I like it, I enjoy it, but I also like understand it's like what it's meant to be, sort of cheesy. So like John is like, no, I am not suspending disbelief here. I don't like it. Whereas Anne loves it. I know Christian loves it. Harloff. I have a lot of fun with it. And even if you feel like, oh, it's not that popular because it's not popular with you, it has a big fan base, and they are very passionate about the fan base.
Huge fan base. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
massive.
And it's sad that it's coming to an end.
Now, question: has Jackie Chan shown?
No, not in the series.
So this might be
because they were always. This feels almost like a multiverse in a way, because it was a completely separate story.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Karate Kid, but for one thing, it took place in China, so I think it was more like a kung fu style or whatever,
Right.
which Jackie Chan is famous for.
Well, that's kind of what seems to be our little like connecting thread here, because all we really know so far is that the movie is going to take place in the East Coast with a new student who is from China.
Okay.
This wonderful young actor who was so wonderful in that Netflix series. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the name. The one that had
his name is Ben Wang, right?
yeah.
I'll look that up.
Oh my gosh, he was like a kid who like learned that he had connections to like the Monkey King and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, is it
American Born? Yes, that show was so good, and I was so bummed that it got canceled. I really enjoyed it. He was wonderful in it. So maybe we bring in both teachers for that.
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
thing?
assuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
So it'll be connected to Cobra Kai. And
Oh yeah,
stuff,
obviously,
right?
because they're playing their same
that's all-
characters.
yeah, they're the same characters, and I mean, Daniel LaRusso is. There's not going to be a different Daniel LaRusso, so this is all tied.
You know what?
I'm not saying there's any connection with as far as like the characters of Cobra Kai. I think this is moving beyond that, and this will be a little more throwback and connected to the movies. But you know,
I can see a big part of this movie being the teaching styles of each, contrasting with each other, and also causing conflict. But then them finding a way to meld both their teachings and how they go about things, and actually find like some resolution to it.
yeah, there's going to be some conflict, obviously.
Yeah, that's instilled into the kid.
Yeah.
And he shows both forms or whatever styles that both of them have. Because Jackie Chan, he was more of Mr. Miyagi style in the last film.
In the last
more
film.
of like whatever's around you, you could train with it. A broom, this and that, you know.
Right.
So it'll be that against like maybe I don't know how Daniel's teachings are in Cobra Kai. Maybe if he taken off.
They
Mr.
echo
Miyagi as
Mr.
well.
Miyagi as well, so that's why I say I think it's.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I look forward to it only because I did like the last Karate Kid movie. I love Jackie Chan. See him in as many films as you can right now. I always say that with everybody. Not that he's dying or anything, but just because he's rarely
Is he going to the
in
ranch?
films. And I love seeing him. Mutant Mayhem. Great to see him.
Oh my gosh, he's
hearing
incredible.
that.
He's
Right.
wonderful, and he's still so gifted at all of this kind of work. So guys, let us know. Do you like this poster? Are you excited about this film, or does it all just make you want to sweep the leg? Let us know.
Dang, bro, came out hot with that.
Wow.
Right off the dome. All right, y'all. Let's get to our main topic now. This is one that I am actually really excited about. I love this little dude. We got a better look at Herbie.
Is he the love bug? I'm not sure. Herbie?
Oh, he's our sweet little robot. I love him so much. Oh my gosh. So this is actually from a Marvel mural. This is not, from...
This is the mural here.
Yeah. But we get a little bit of a cleaner look at Herbie from that first look that we had of just kind of the Fantastic Four sketch that was going around.
Yeah.
I love this little dude. I think he's
retro.
so cute. He is so retro. He now has a Fantastic Four emblem on his chest too, so that makes me think he's going to be a lot more integral to the team, not just a little robot butler. He's got kind of Jetsons vibes, which I do.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Love it. Which just fits the aesthetic of what they seem to be going for with this version. That kind of 1960s space race kind of vibes where everything is a little mod, a little fun and futuristic, clean lines.
I think what's really interesting too. Okay, I want to point out. I know this is the main story, but let's just have a little side chat here.
Let's go.
Let's look at this for a second. You got Daredevil here, okay? But then you got X-Men. Is that Apocalypse possibly?
Oh,
right there. And then in the M, this is inside the M. And Scarlet Witch, is that Scarlet Witch down there at the bottom of the M? I can't tell quite. Maybe that's Galactus. I can't tell. Then you got, obviously you got Falcon. Well, no, you got Captain America now. Herbie and then look at this. We got the asterisk and look how it's spray painted in there with Thunderbolts. So you got Walmart, Captain America right there, and you got Bucky, right? Red Hulk. And then we got Agatha over here in the V. And then we've got our What If characters in the E. I'm just trying to see if there's... Okay, Scarlet Witch is actually in the L over here.
Right.
But interesting that she's still highlighted. Okay.
We also have Jeff the Shark.
Yeah, what the heck? I just saw that.
I love Jeff the Shark so much.
Who's Jeff the Shark again?
He's this cute little land shark.
Let me see.
He's basically like a dog. He hangs out with Kate Bishop a ton. I love him. Marvel, please let me do the voice of Jeff the Shark.
Yeah, I'm just zooming in here
my
so we can like... I just noticed that.
You would absolutely love comics around him, Ray. He's just so sweet and pure. Oh my gosh.
So then that begs the question, are these all characters we're going to be seeing again, or is this just paying an homage or what? Because this is obviously, some of this is promotional material, and then some of this seems like it's just an homage to past characters.
Yeah.
Or is it?
It feels potentially like the lunchbox.
Yeah.
You know, feels like this is where we're going to have our starting lineup.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy.
In there, though.
But I guess going back to, obviously
Herbie,
but we're just getting closer to Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So we got one shot of him in like probably an early costume.
Paul Walter Hauser behind the voice, I believe.
He's voicing,
He
got in there somehow.
Embarrassment in Inside Out 2. That was my first exposure to him as a
voice,
right?
Yeah, voice acting work.
I believe he did Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Plantasm, that movie. He was in that.
People don't talk about Aqua Teen Hunger Force enough.
That's true.
In my
That
opinion.
show was great.
Yeah,
I loved it.
The title to this film when Fantastic Four. Are you guys still good with this title?
First Steps?
It seems a little off from usual Marvel titles. I don't know.
Well, it's a little off. It's also an Elseworlds technically because it's in a different universe.
Yeah.
But what is it? First Steps? First Steps into what? That's the exciting part.
I do want to see this retro. They did so well in WandaVision, creating on a TV series, trying to correct. Now we see a feature film with all their imagination brought into a Jetsons, maybe. I love that you brought up Jetsons because it brings me back to all when I used to watch it, just like me thinking about the future and if that would be, as a kid, I was thinking about, flying cars. We still don't have it.
I'm still pissed off we're not traveling by mnemonic tube.
Right. Or the meals that were small and you put them in the microwave and they turned huge. I mean, come on. I mean, they could do so many things in this film that brings the imagination, like old style, but then have it futuristic.
Well, because Reed Richards brings that science meets magic.
Yeah.
Sort of like how we got a taste of that with Asgard, like what you call magic, we call science or whatever.
Vice versa and all that.
Yeah. So it'll delve into that. What I do like about this is the previous Fantastic Four films is they went on a quick adventure. They got their powers, they came back, and now they're just dealing with being superheroes and fight. This really feels to me like it's going to be, especially when I match up the First Steps title or subtitle and the theme of the music, it feels to me like we're finally getting the exploration in the Fantastic Four. And that's going to be exciting to me.
Yeah.
I hope that's what we're getting, more of an exploration, you know, futuristic Indiana Jones style kind of thing.
Absolutely. Well, that's what's always so interesting about them. Not only that they're, you know, Marvel's first family, because that's a really great aspect of it. Stan Lee wanted to make a sitcom, essentially.
Yeah.
But how curious that entire team is just the driving force of them. And what we've gotten on screen before is, sure, they go on a mission, but then it's all about, oh, now we have powers and now we're superheroes.
Right. Now
And
we're
it
fighting Dr.
hasn't-
Dumont at home.
Yeah, it hasn't been as much about discovery. It hasn't been so much about leading with science, because that really, particularly for Reed, it's all about innovation for humankind. It's
Yeah.
not simply about, well, I'm a hero now, let's do what heroes do.
Right.
He's always been trying to push the boundaries of science, and he has a whole team that wants to do that with him as well.
And I'm also glad that Marvel's it sounds like they're taking a different approach to this franchise,
So
because
refreshing.
yeah, just because like I said with the VR, Apple has their Apple Vision. I said if Apple can't make VR work, this is done. This is done. So I think it's like if Marvel can't make Fantastic Four work, then
You think that's the
it's
kiss of
over.
death?
Yeah, that's pretty much put it in the hands of the company or studio that you believe can give it the most love and give you the best product. And if that fails, then I think it's you just leave it alone for a while. Just leave it, or maybe forever. I mean, if
Whoa,
Marvel
okay.
Studios can't get me interested in Fantastic Four, I don't think any studio can. That's my personal belief, and that's because I always found Fantastic Four to be a little boring. Like, I mean, even
fair.
though I love the look of the Thing in the comics, I loved
Well, the problem is it was going up
Human
against
Torch.
It was going up against X-Men, which was wildly popular at the time.
But this look at like this feeling of the retro futuristic thing is got me a little excited for this film. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm excited.
Pedro Pascal, I'm so in. I'm so in.
I'm so stoked about this cast.
They're bonding together as a family is very important to me. I mean, that's how you make me believe that they are family instead of just people getting along. I gotta see that that brother sister thing, or or not brother sister thing, but just like the closeness.
Yeah.
Exploration sounds cool. Where could they possibly go? Is Doom anywhere around? This and that.
Yeah.
All these
Yeah, and
stuff.
I think they're already going to have their powers. This isn't going to be like, we went
Thank
out,
God.
oh, now
Thank
we
God.
have
Think
powers.
so?
I think they already have
Yeah,
the powers.
thank God.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
you actually have a different take.
I think
You
they're
actually think they're
established
gonna
as
redo
the
it?
Fantastic
I feel like
Four.
we're gonna see them get powers
Because it
I
is
don't.
first
You don't?
steps, right?
We're gonna
Maybe a quick like,
we're gonna Peter Parker this Marvel style of like, you know,
Yeah.
the origin story. There's something happened. Now
I
move
don't
on.
need. Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need.
I mean, they could do it with quick like, you know, a quick newsreel.
I want
in the film,
established.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, after you received your powers, and then what are you working on here? Oh, and it's some weird quirky
Honestly,
thing.
like, give me what they did with Edward Norton's Hulk. Just give me that pre-roll
Yeah.
where I go, oh yeah, that happened.
Right.
Thanks, Ang Lee.
Boom. You're in, you're out.
Yeah. But we're all pretty pro on this aesthetic. We're enjoying what we see.
Oh yeah, man!
Fine.
I'm getting more excited for this movie.
I actually I think on the drive home, I'm going to listen to that theme song again on Spotify.
It's so beautiful. Oh my
It
gosh.
kind of give me a Starfield vibe. I don't know if you've listened to the suite from Starfield.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very, very accurate. My buddy Raul did a big breakdown of the music that was really, really incredible. But guys, let us know. Do you like how Herbie looks? Does this get you more excited? What do you think of this Marvel mural? Are these our folks who we're going to be watching for the next phase? Or is this just kind of homage to some of the properties they've done and are going to be doing? Let us know your thoughts, okay? Now, with all that down, guys, we are getting to the most important part of the show, your questions, where we get to interact with you. But before we do that, we just got to thank one more sponsor. We'll be right back after that.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Dollar Shave Club. Hello there, my fellow handsome gentlemen. Nice face you shaved there. Whether you're going smooth shaven or maintaining a beard, Dollar Shave Club offers shave and grooming products that are always high quality, but never overpriced. If you like to wet shave for that clean, close shave, they've got the Club Series 6 Blade Razor. A shave so comfy your skin will take a nap. 6 stainless steel blades for our closest and most comfortable shave, with a vitamin E infused lubricant strip for comfort and glide and precision trimmer for precise detailing. Their amazing Shave Butter Clear View Smooth Glide, designed for precision. Shave Butter is a translucent shaving cream alternative that allows you to see exactly where you're shaving. Bonus, it has long-lasting lubrication that helps soften whiskers for maximum glide and leaves your skin feeling hydrated. But don't take our word for it. Try it for yourself. You can visit their site right now for 20% off, $20 or more, and get your products delivered right to your door. Visit dollarshaveclub.com/Campea and use promo code Campea for 20% off, $20 or more. And remember, however you shave, Dollar Shave Club is here to help you stay handsome.
Oh, there you go.
Muscle memory.
Thank you so much for the Dollar Shave Club for making this episode possible. They're great. It's wonderful because then you can just have these razors delivered to your home and you can kind of put it on auto.
I've used them for years, actually.
Logan and I both use those. Yeah.
Great.
All right, let's get to our viewer questions. Jonathan, what do we have?
We got Johnny B, who says, love the show, gets me through my work days. I just saw Terrifier 3. John, I know you don't like the series, but the story this time was actually good. Gore was extra. And they have scenes at the mall with kids that I'm surprised hasn't gotten them into trouble.
Oh,
they showed portions of that in the trailer.
In the trailer, yeah. I know.
I've never seen any of the Terrifier.
Me neither.
And
Taylor loves them.
They seem a little goofy, but I also feel like that's an aesthetic that, I mean, they're very aware of.
Yeah.
And that's just what people are like, yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
A little goofy, a little high-core gore. But if you want to know more about that movie, I would highly recommend you head on over to Taylor's channel, 50 Shades of Tay. He's done some reviews, and I know he's talked to a bunch of cast members and stuff as well. So if you're into that franchise, go check out his stuff.
There you go. Next up, we got Anonymous. It says, yesterday, the trailer for Frank Grillo's new action horror movie, Werewolves, dropped. Fun fact, none of the werewolves in the movie use bad language. This is because they are werewolves, not swearwolves.
Oh,
Well
Little
done.
what we do in the shadow.
Yeah, Reese Darby in there.
Yeah.
Wonderful. We appreciate you.
Valentin Vasiliev says, Valentin Vasiliev, yeah. My only thing with the Sigil in episode 6 is I don't think she was actually the one who cast it. In the episode from 6:30 to 7:20, it almost seemed like she was being controlled. When she gave the jacket to the worker, it seems she forgot meeting the kid.
Well, to be clear, the person, we had this established by Agatha, the person who cast the sigil also forgets that they cast the sigil. That's part of the magic there. So somebody else could be pulling the strings here. Absolutely. Especially because we know that she has that kind of like jarring, oh, I'm speaking from somebody else, or some other thought popped in my head.
Sort of like in Harry Potter when
Trelawney would
Trelawney, like it, but it actually wasn't her, and she couldn't remember what she had said.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it
we
was
got
a
a little
prophecy.
of that. Yeah, so, but that's them's the rules with sigil casting.
Yeah, Billy Sigil, baby.
Yeah.
All right. The Dumb of All Fear says, did you ever see Mike Flanagan's Midnight Mass on Netflix? To me, it's an excellent horror miniseries, but considering the subject matter, themes, and John's theology background, I get why you may not want to discuss on the show. I don't think I ever saw it. Midnight Mass, but did any of you guys end up seeing Midnight Mass?
No, I'm really excited. I am going to actually watch this. A friend of mine convinced me because it's a Netflix show, so I can also pause and take a lap and have my comfort blanket and lots of wine. But yeah, it involves religion, and Rock Coley, who I love, is in it playing a sheriff. The usual kind of Mike Flanagan suspects are in this.
Yeah.
But it seems like it is going to be super, super interesting. I am a little concerned about the gore, but I feel like the story will outweigh it for me.
All right, there you go. Don't You Blame the Movies says, went to watch Smile 2. I had the worst cinema experience I've had for a while. 2 girls were talking next to me, so I had to tell them to be quiet. Then a group of lads behind were so bad, I had to get the usher, who did nothing, to be honest. I sat there angry the whole time. Why wouldn't you just leave and get your money back?
Yeah, that's what
In a situation like that, walk out.
I usually first try telling the people to be quiet, or my classic line is, I did not pay to hear you. And I stare at them for a while, and that usually makes people stop because my eyes just lead to pools of darkness.
Oh, I've heard people go like, I pay my money, I should be able to talk. It's like, but we all paid money, and we didn't pay money to hear you talk. And why would you have to pay money to talk?
Yeah, this is a social contract we all entered.
You could talk outside for free, you idiot.
Exactly. Yeah, I never understand why people text during a movie of like, this is your time that you're wasting. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Go to the usher. If the usher doesn't do anything, go up to the front and go, hey, I'd like a refund, and I'd like to come see this movie again. they'll take care of it then. Because a lot of times too, your ushers, they're like, 16, 17-year-old kids. They don't want to get into some kind of kerfuffle either. So
There you go.
I don't blame them.
Don't You Blame the Movies is back and says, in Agatha, think Patty knew he would die. His lifeline was short, so his life was going to end no matter what. She's a good witch, so I think she would have told him if it would have changed anything. I was thinking like maybe it's a Final Destination thing, like it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Death finds a way.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I want to say some more stuff on that for people who haven't
A
seen
little
the show.
spoilery.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, sure, I can see that.
Anonymous says, hi, JC and company. It's just company today. Can you please explain what a thunderbolt is? Well, when lightning strikes, that bolt that you see is the thunderbolt. Actually, it's a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Thunder is the sound, so it's a little weird. But maybe it's a combination of light and sound. Pictures, movies, cinema. Okay. I'm familiar with a lightning bolt, and I know the sound is called a thunderclap. Can anyone describe what it represents in English? No, you're spot on.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't think too much about it. You're actually correct in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Best show on YouTube and best podcast as well.
Aw, thanks, man.
Billy Kapsimoff says, John, regarding the body in episode 1 of Agatha, they make a point to say red hair, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, they describe Wanda.
But then John did say something like, Agatha says, who said it was a woman or something. There was like a moment where she said, how... Any leads on the dead woman? And then she said, who said it was a girl or a woman or something like that.
Is it somebody else asking her and they haven't seen the body?
Well, they said any leads on the woman, and then she said, who said it's a woman? So I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't catch it myself. That's just what he said, so I don't know.
I'll have to rewatch.
Duck says, Buenas tardes. 2 of my friends and I are watching Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings stuff for the first time.
Wow.
We just finished the Hobbit trilogy. I think it lowered in quality as it went on. The epic conclusion didn't feel epic because every storyline was stretched out so much that it couldn't get invested enough in anything. They were all too long. Overall, I liked the first. The second felt like filler, and the third was bad in my opinion. I hope the next 3 are good because it was a rough start. Well, here's your mistake, and you should have mentioned this to us first. We would have said focus on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring, 2 Towers, Return of the King. Just go ahead and do the extended edition.
Yes.
And
So worthwhile.
then you should have done The Hobbit because then you would have been more forgiving.
Well, and Peter Jackson was pushed to, 1, make a trilogy, and 2, to utilize a lot more CGI and things like that. They didn't get to do as many practical effects. Oh my gosh, TJ Slapdragon, thank you so much. I think Two Filthy Casuals is the best podcast. That's my podcast with Amy Newman. Thank you. I'll do some more shameless promotion of that at the end. But yeah, Lord of the Rings absolutely holds up. And I know I say that as somebody who has named their voiceover studio after Lord of the Rings and their dog after Lord of the Rings. Those movies are incredible. And like Jonathan said, do yourself a favor, just go extended edition. They're beautiful. They're so fun. Ugh, you're going to have a great time. Sorry The Hobbit disappointed you, but strap in.
Yeah.
You're going to have a good time.
All right. Hogarth Hughes says, my top 5 movies are Home Alone, House Guest starring Phil Hartman and Sinbad. Oh my.
Whoa.
I forgot about that movie. The Borrowers with John Goodman. Biodome. Okay, you have a very distinct
Yeah.
sensibility here. I like it though. And the movie Road Trip. Whenever these movies are on, it's like everything is okay. I miss the old days. Sorry guys, give me a second.
Aw, Hogarth.
Yeah, those I cannot remember House Guest. Like I saw that once.
Oh man.
But those are definitely all fun movies.
I was gonna say, Hogarth Hughes, you were a good time.
Yeah.
You're fun.
Yeah.
That's a
sure.
great little movie Mount Rushmore. I love it.
Yeah. Supreme Leader says, is Joaquin Phoenix a bankable star still? He's talented for sure, but his last 3 movies, Joker 2, Beau is Afraid, and Napoleon, haven't done well, whether it's financially or critically, and he allegedly has a history of quitting movies at the last minute. I think he's done 1 or 2 like that. I think there was 2.
And it hasn't been like he left in a hissy fit.
Yeah.
It's been...
But we don't really know, because everyone was like, oh, he's afraid of playing that character. He owned the rights to that story. He knew what the character was.
Yeah.
So we don't know the full story. As far as his ability, he's very bankable.
Oh, sure.
Very.
Academy Award winning actor.
But it is true. he's on a track record of like these films not doing great, but that's not necessarily his fault.
No, and we also see this a lot with people after they win Oscars of having this almost Oscar curse of then the next few movies they do sometimes just are kind of duds. But I think he's still an excellent actor, and I think any movie would be very fortunate to have him in the cast.
Yeah.
He's tremendous.
Yeah, because I don't think Joker 2, the problem was him.
No.
So, and then, you know, I think when people think about Napoleon, it's not, it was the pacing of the film. It was how it was just, everything
Napoleon
was
was a
jammed in. It was the
slog.
editing. It was the directing. I think that's where you lead with that. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't blame him for that. Now, if he keeps walking off films, I think they're going to have to start putting a clause in his contract where it starts costing him money.
Sure.
But
That makes sense. That's just safe.
yeah. Veritech says, hello, everyone. Hope Ray's around to share his thoughts on the Gundam show on Netflix. Also, a viewer suggested Scavenger's Reign recently, and I loved it. Such a chilling, creative atmosphere. It totally deserves a 100% rating. Thanks for the suggestion.
Ooh.
Who suggested that? I've never heard of it.
One of our viewers came in and said that it was really great. And then I still only have watched the first episode. As you all may remember, I had a little bit of an edible, and then I got too scared of the show. So I had to take a break.
What's it on? It sounds like
HBO.
Netflix. Oh, HBO?
Oh,
Okay.
you actually can watch the first season though on Netflix now, I believe.
I don't have Netflix is the one thing I actually don't have it right
Oh, okay.
now.
Well, then HBO.
So HBO.
Yeah, it was an HBO original.
So,
Have you gotten to watch the
Yeah.
Gundam show?
is it out?
Yeah,
So there's your answer.
The whole
Okay.
series?
I believe so.
I'm watching that as soon as I can leave this place, so I can't not wait to see what this. It looks good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the trailer with John behind me. He didn't think it was all that, but for me, I mean, in the Gundam universe, I mean, that's completely different look, completely different style from what I'm used to, from what I've seen. So I cannot wait to see this. I hope it's not too confusing. I'm not so far into the Gundam lore. I just like robots. I like things that transform.
Yeah.
I like blasters. I like space stuff. So let's see. This is really my first big dive into a Gundam sort of franchise or property.
Oh,
I've watched
okay.
clips before. I've watched.
You didn't watch the anime?
I even have like my favorite robots based on just aesthetics.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the So I cannot wait. There's properties that I want to get into, and this is one of them.
Okay.
So hopefully this is a good introduction for me at least. I cannot wait. I'm so excited now. I didn't know it was out.
Dude, yeah. Logan watched the trailer yesterday, and this was another moment of you guys just sharing the same brain. Him being like, oh man, this looks so cool. I don't know anything about
The
this.
trailer just did not do it for me.
You know, just it didn't, man. Like bringing in those mobile suits into that war. I just cannot wait to see what they do.
I watched the anime back in the day on,
yeah?
on Toonami and Adult Swim, and so that's my idea of Gundam, and I haven't revisited the series since. I really should, because there's so much content.
You know, Gundam I always got confused as a kid with Gundam and Robotech.
Oh, yeah.
They're sort of like in the same sort of vein, but it's time
Gundam
for them
Lane.
to differentiate it with each other today. It happens today.
Woo! Big game day. Oh my gosh, so many
big game
things.
All right. Manx Cat says, I'm enjoying Agatha. Brilliant to see Joe Locke doing well as a fellow Manx from the Isle of Man. There is not many of us in the world, so we just live on a tiny dot in the middle of the Irish Sea, not being biased, but I would love to see a Wiccan series.
Aw. Joe Locke is incredible. He's on this wonderful series called Heartstopper. It's based on a graphic novel. And like he's fabulous. He's English and like has a beautiful, beautiful dialect that he's doing on the show. I've heard him slip up like once. I'd never be able to do it. Holy shit. He's incredible.
But that's cool, man. You're from the Isle of Man.
Yeah,
That
that's
is-
really cool that you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
are from the same place. I love it.
I've never been to the Isle of Man, but I've been to some of those Irish Sea islands, just not Man.
Oh, I thought you said Alabama.
I've never been to Alabama
Completely
either.
different.
Next up, we got Forbidden. If Spider-Man 4 is set in Battle World, doesn't that automatically cancel out both the MCU and Sonyverse? Multiverse merges into one. Either way, definitely sounds like it's going to be a circus of a movie. I don't think Spider-Man 4 is set in the Battle World. I haven't heard anything
No.
about that. I think it's set. I think it's set like probably in New York.
In Queens.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be more grounded from what I
Unless there
read.
was a recent update about it.
Yeah, and also the multiverse does not mix the Sonyverse and the MCU.
No. The whole Battle World thing is something that's potentially part of Secret Wars. And that's where people have begun speculating, hey, is that going to bring Venom and Null and those kinds of characters over into the mix so we can get one consistent timeline, blah, 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 blah. But not only is that a whole bunch of story that has not been confirmed, that's also a whole bunch of legal stuff that I know nothing about because I am not part of the Sony Marvel deals.
Yeah,
So,
those are completely separate.
yeah, it's hard to speculate on those.
Excuse me. Anonymous says, "Hi, John and crew. Given the story about Cynthia Erivo, don't you believe that some of the people criticize DEI standards have a point? Don't you think the Go Woke Go Broke crowd have some legitimacy to their grievance? It's not knuckle draggers alone." You didn't even put your name in here. And no, Go Woke Go Broke. What a joke. I've yet to see the Go Woke Go Broke actually manifest. So keep the hopium alive, pal.
Just because it rhymes, you know.
I don't understand what you guys.
He should have called himself Grievance. Mike Rashetta says, "Happy Friday, Batman Beyond crew. With KK Legends seeming to begin its marketing push, I'm worried about Cobra Kai spoilers. Netflix still has part 2 and 3 of the final season to drop. Shouldn't they wait until after the show airs to begin to promote?" I don't think they're going to. I really don't think that Legends is going to spoil much out of it. While it's still Danny LaRusso, it's still that world.
Yeah.
I think the events that take place, in the Valley for Cobra Kai are pretty much there.
Like, was it really on the table that like Daniel-san is gonna
Like
die?
he doesn't die or anything. So yeah, I honestly think it's okay. I really think they're gonna make this insular to its own thing. And yeah, I
That's
think
what
you're
it seems
fine.
like.
Oh, can I bring something?
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see this Gundam series. I didn't know it was out. I'm just so excited. I want to get out of here and go watch it.
Well, we got to pick up the pace. Then,
I know. Cannot wait. It's gonna be so good. All right.
All right. Mr. Rice says, "Speaking of NFL movies, as a Browns fan, I have to watch Draft Day. I feel hope again. Ray, I hope your Bengals destroy Watson early so we can have a chance again."
That's Watson.
You've been a Bengal fan long enough. You just prepare for the worst, I think. But you know what? Joe Burrow is doing his thing. We'll see.
We will see. All right. Anonymous says, "I'm looking forward to watching Dune Prophecy because of Emily Watson." I mean, she's one of many.
Oh, yeah.
Looks
She's incredible.
She is one of my favorite actresses. Nice. Do you like any of her movies? Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, she's incredible in so many films. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Who are we talking about again?
Emily Watson.
Emily Watson.
She's in Dune Prophecy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's incredible. She's in so many things. She's been in wonderful series as well. She has a huge resume.
I keep mixing her up with Roberts. What's her the Emma Roberts?
Yeah.
Emma Roberts.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
She was in. Okay, so it's weird. I can't really say it's a Adam Sandler movie. It's a Paul Thomas Anderson movie, which is Punch Drunk Love. But it is my favorite Adam Sandler led film.
Right.
And she's in Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, among so many others. But
Wasn't
yeah.
that with Drew Barrymore?
She was in Chernobyl.
She was in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
That wasn't the one with Drew Barrymore, right?
No.
No. That was like more of like
Something 50 dates or
50 First Dates.
Yeah,
is what
that's
she
more of
did.
an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
Yeah,
Punch Drunk Love was beautiful though. It was great.
Next up, we got Mega Red says, "Hey crew, happy Batman Beyond Friday. I got to see Across the Spider-Verse live in concert last night in Seattle,
Fun.
which is cool. I think that's mostly, most perfectly paced film I've seen. All killer, no filler. What movie do you wish you could see live in concert?"
Metro. Sorry, just had to say it. Every time I think.
What?
Metro.
Are there any movies that you'd want to see live in concert?
In concert? Ooh.
I got to see the Batman live in concert.
Oh,
Now,
that's fun.
when you guys say live in concert, they're
With the
playing,
orchestra.
They're playing the
Yeah.
movie.
It's
and
the
then-
orchestra that is playing directly with the movie.
Ooh.
I've gone to a couple of them and I always really enjoy them. I can't think of something off the top of my head that I'd be like, oh, I really want to go see this.
I mean, Lord of the Rings, but their hands would be bleeding by the
yeah,
end of
I
it,
was going
you
to
know
say
what I
those
mean?
poor musicians.
I know.
Dark Knight trilogy, probably. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, for
that'd be
sure.
good.
Love the whole sound.
You know, Batman really does lend itself to that.
What's
you
all the
know?
strings? It's so beautiful when
Yeah.
you hear that in person. I always like doing at Walt Disney Concert Hall when they do the Christmas movies to the live
Oh, okay.
concert.
Oh, I did E.T.
E.T.'s fun. I
E.T.
did
was
E.T. as
great.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
E.T. was awesome.
Where do they show these things? I never catch when there's a
Different
live.
theaters or the Hollywood Bowl
if
or
you
whatever.
follow Hollywood Bowl and if you follow Walt Disney Concert Hall.
So what are they
LA
technically called?
Philharmonic.
They're
If I call and say, hey,
it'd be
do you have
like-
tickets to this?
Well, you wouldn't do that
Live-
because this is
live
in
con-
1985.
Right.
But But it would be like it will say like the movie live in concert.
Yeah.
Okay, movie
Yeah,
live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like around Christmas, they're doing Home Alone.
Live in
Tickets,
concert.
I think,
Live in
yeah.
concert.
But I think tickets start at like $75, which is I understand.
That seems steep.
Right, and I understand these musicians need to be paid, and you're in that space and
But
everything.
you have a lot of people that are paying for tickets.
Yeah, well, to start at 75 seems a little exorbitant.
Is the Home Alone soundtrack really that iconic? I can't even think of.
It's pretty good. Was
Yeah,
it not
pretty
Danny
good.
Elfman?
It's probably
who did
good.
Home
It's
Alone,
probably
or-
good, but I
It's
can't think of anything.
pretty gorgeous.
I can't remember who did this. What was it not? No, wait. Am I tripping? Who did the home guys? Does anyone in the chat know who did the Home Alone soundtrack? Because now,
I can
now I'm
Google
like,
it. I can give it a goog.
I'm totally thrown off. But we'll move on while we.
Okay.
Elfman. So it is Elfman.
It is?
Okay.
All right, sweet.
All right. Because at first I was like, wait, was it John Williams? So, yeah. See, now the chat's
Now
like,
the
it's
chat
John
is just
Williams. It definitely wasn't Daft
That's
Punk.
exactly.
Okay, I think it was John Williams, but it always had a spooky thing that made me feel it was
Yeah.
Danny Elfman. All right, moving on. Vintage Orton says, Chris, I assume you have watched My Adventures with Superman season 2?
Yes.
Okay, Kara's backstory is so dark, her kill count is probably in the billions, and she had zero control. F Brainiac. Love how smart Lois and Jimmy are too. Both figured out Clark's identity.
Vintage Orton. Oh my gosh. Yes. My Adventures with Superman is so great, and I don't know why so many people are sleeping on it. This show is so well done. It is great character work. Kara Zor-El is so interesting in this. You guys, grow up. Watch it. Go watch Superman do a magical girl transformation. It's great.
There you go. Anonymous says, this is for Chris.
Hi.
I got to visit the Bronte Museum